What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Here's what we learned from the conference semifinals of the NBA, the second round of the playoffs. Definitely was a wild one. Definitely even more wild than the first round in the first video that I made about the NBA playoffs so far. We definitely learned that the Phoenix Suns are not who we thought they were. We thought CP3 and Devin Booker would be able to carry them over the hump against a Dallas team who a lot of people picked against in that series. Who came out on top? Luka's definitely a top player in the league. Luka's definitely no doubt a superstar. I don't even think it can be argued at this point. Definitely helped put that team on his back. Jason Kidd is definitely probably the MVP so far, of the Dallas Mavericks, because Dallas Mavericks wouldn't be anywhere without him, his wisdom, the way he has made adjustments with that team, and the way he's got them playing right now might be the best in the NBA so far. We learned that the Warriors definitely are going to make a splash in the playoffs. They definitely can, reach themselves back, find themselves back into the NBA Finals once again. They definitely are looking more better and better with the return of Game 6 elimination Clay. To see his presence rise again is definitely huge for the Warriors and their success going forward. And, it's definitely going to be tough going forward, but they still have, a really good team, and they still are favored, going into the next round. We definitely, look at the situation here and see that the Boston Celtics were the better team against the Bucks. We see the Bucks definitely needed Chris Middleton, but at the same time, it's no excuses for Giannis. Giannis definitely had to find a way to step up and find a way to deliver that knockout blow to the Celtics. He was unable to do it, even though he scored like 200 points, 100 rebounds, like 50 assists. The first player to do all those great things in one series, but end up coming up short. And definitely that's what it comes down to ultimately. And we also learned the Miami Heat, they definitely had Philly's number there. I know Jimmy Butler was definitely happy to knock off his old team, and is looking to take it into the next round to see if he can make it to another NBA Finals within the last few years. So, this conference semifinals definitely had some, very, very crazy endings. Definitely some unexpected ones. Nobody saw the Warriors, nobody saw the Phoenix Suns getting knocked out the way they did. It was a lot of chipper, a lot of talking in that series, on both sides, and Devin Booker and, CP3 definitely thought they would be the ones to come out on top. And just like I did and a lot of other people, but we were wrong. Even though they won the regular season, they were the best team in the whole NBA. That just goes to show, it doesn't necessarily mean you're the best team that's coming out the West or the East going into a finals. There's no guarantee. And, when you see them lose to a team like Dallas, even though Dallas is very immensely talented as a team, they got a lot of good pieces. Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie showed up for the party. And the way they demolished them in Game 7, I feel like they just took their spirit against the Phoenix Suns, and the Suns couldn't do anything about it. And DeAndre Ayton really didn't perform at the level a lot of people thought he would. He's definitely a piece looking to be shopped around probably this offseason. And, their offseason came a lot sooner than what people thought. Definitely a lot sooner than I thought. I definitely saw, them getting past Dallas. But, hey, Luka's in it. Luka has an opportunity to, make some more history going into, the next round of the playoffs. He made history in his own rights because he got out the first round this year. Maybe that's because the Clippers weren't there for him to face. Maybe he wouldn't have got past them once again. Who knows? But nevertheless, he found a way to, come through. And now he's in a conference finals going forward. And we'll see actually how he fares there. But, it's definitely a lot of excitement for the NBA playoffs going forward. As I said about Giannis and the Bucks, You know, a lot of people are going to say they needed Middleton, and they did. But at the same time, Giannis was putting up enough numbers for them to win, and he didn't. If he's the best player in the world, you got to find a way to close that deal. You can't come up short. You can't, have any excuses. And I'm not saying Giannis is the excuses type, because he's not that type. He take his loss like a man, and I definitely respect that about him. But all the points and everything he put up in that series, Game 6 was in his house. And Jason Tatum outdueled him. And that's just what it came down to. I mean, honestly, if you got Game 6 in your house with your fans, you're the best player in the world, you can't even let it go to a Game 7 in Boston, because that's just not, logical. You have to find a way to knock that team off and move on to the next round and face the Miami Heat. He wasn't able to do so. So a lot of the best player talk is going to die down, even though he's still one of the top players in the league. But, you have to kind of take a step back and look at that from afar now, because Game 6 in your house, what I'm saying? Then they lost another game in their house before that. You had opportunities. And when you have opportunities to close a team out, this is what makes great players in the playoffs look, immortal. This is what makes them look even better. This is what makes them great players. You got to find a way to close out a deal and move on and really, certify yourself as being, not only that champion, but the best player in the league. And, Giannis wasn't able to do that. And that's just the way it is. And now he's on his way home, and the Celtics are on their way going forward. As far as the Celtics, they definitely show that they're, Jason Tatum and, Jaylen Brown can definitely coexist. I think they've been showing that throughout these playoffs, and they definitely show that they're a really complete team, especially on defense. They got so many weapons on defense in regards to individual defensive play, and they can knock down threes at a high clip. So I definitely think a lot of people need to watch out for them going forward in the rest of these playoffs, because, like I said, I mean, it's not much playoffs left, but at the same time, they can definitely see themselves in the NBA Finals. As far as the Heat, hey, the 76ers, they just weren't good enough. And with that being said, James Harden definitely doesn't look like the player he used to. Joel Embiid, he just wasn't able to come through the way a lot of people thought he would. I feel like the MVP voting and the MVP kind of knocked Joel's momentum off a little bit, because he just knew that, maybe he played the best this season and he played better than everybody else, and he should have won that. And I definitely agree. I think he should have won the MVP, but the fact that he didn't, it doesn't matter. You have to go out there and prove yourself. You got to go out there and be the best version of yourself. And he wasn't that in the last couple games. Of course, he was hurt as well, so we got to throw that in there. But there again, it's no excuses. It's playoff basketball. You got to find a way to come through, and that's just what it's all about. So it's definitely some drama there in regards to the series and everything like that, but this is the way it goes, and this is how it has to be. The Heat are moving on to the Celtics, and that's definitely going to be a very, very interesting matchup right there. I think if you ask me, I think the Celtics can beat the Heat 4-2 in the series. I think it's going 6 games. I like the Celtics in the series. I just don't think Jimmy Butler's a superstar enough, to get the Heat over the hump. I mean, he's the Heat star, but I just don't think you can win a championship with Jimmy Butler as your number one guy. I just don't think his offense game is polished enough, not unless all the pieces around him pick up, insurmountably, where it covers up a lot of, his woes on offense and, things like that, because I just don't feel like what Jimmy Butler has offensively can counteract what other teams have to offer. Like I said, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I mean, I don't think he can keep up with both of those guys scoring. And then if somebody else chips in Boston, it's going to be a wrap. So, I mean, that's just how I see it. We have to see how that plays out. But that's my pick. In 6 games, I'm going with the Celtics. I feel like their defense overall is just going to be too much. The Tyler Heroes and, the Strausses and all those guys right there, they're good. They play well. But I feel like Boston's defense will backspace delete those type players, and you won't really see too many big gains from them. I feel like they'll neutralize those type players, and it'll be up to Jimmy Butler and Bam and players like that to come through and take it to another level. I'm not sure if they're able to do that. I don't think they'll be able to do it offensively based upon what I've seen from them so far. I just don't see it. But I mean, hey, anything is possible. But I think that series is going pretty much predominantly one way. The Celtics come out with a victory, and that's that in 6 games. But we'll see how that goes. And as far as the Warriors, definitely, Clay, Steph, and Draymond, they definitely been here, had experience, and it's definitely going to be tough going against Luka. But, I mean, hey, I want everybody to know Luka and the Dallas Mavericks got a really good chance. They got a really good chance of winning this series as well because, I mean, the way Jason Kidd has got them playing, as I said, and the way they knocked off the best team in the NBA in the regular season, the Phoenix Suns, they definitely got a chance to make it to a finals and do some great things, So it's going to be tough for the Warriors in that series. But, honestly, I definitely think that, the Warriors will come out on top in that series. I think it's going 7 games. I feel like the Warriors will take it in 7. It's going to be really tough though because Luka's starting to learn to play with his teammates more, and he's starting to play with a little bit more of the killer instinct in a way where he's allowing his game to, flourish, but also allow others' game to flourish as well. And I feel like that's due to Jason Kidd putting that notion in his head and allowing other players to be a factor or be involved in the game. And I feel like he's definitely showing Luka the right ways how to be a champion and how to be a true point guard. And that's definitely big for Luka, actually, for them acquiring Jason Kidd, because it's going to definitely build Luka's characteristics as a player ultimately. And with his talent, I mean, Luka can definitely be the face of the league, in no time. If a lot of people might not think he's that now, So, I definitely, see players like Ja Morant and players like that being the face of the league possibly, but I can definitely see Luka being that same thing as well. So, it's going to be tough, going forward. But, I definitely feel like Dallas is going to give the Warriors all they can handle. The Splash Brothers going to have to be on point. And really, to be honest with you, the biggest X factor in the Warriors and the Dallas series is going to have to be Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is really going to have to show everybody how good he is and how good he can play, because he's going to be that X factor, because they're definitely going to try to take away Clay and Steph at some point by throwing different bodies at them, different looks. And, Klay Thompson is showing that he's kind of sort of the Klay Thompson he was, but the mobility and the way he was moving a couple years ago before he got injured, he really isn't back at that point just yet. He's not that mobile, moving type Klay Thompson as he was. He's kind of there. It looks like he's there a little bit, but there's still some rust there to me. And I think ultimately by next year he'll definitely be, that type of player, that can go out there and play at the level he used to. Even though at times now he shows it in instances here and there. But another year under his belt, I think he'll be back to where he was. But at the same time, it's going to rely on the other guys like Jordan Poole, the Kumingas, and those guys coming in. They say right now it's a long shot that they might get Gary Payton II back maybe by the end, close to the end of this series, if it goes 6 or 7 games, which I definitely believe it will. But it's a long shot, but it is possible. So if they did make it to the finals, I think they might actually have a great chance of getting, Gary Payton II back. But, they can't look that far ahead because they got a huge challenge right in front of them. And it starts here in a couple days, going against the Dallas Mavericks, who right now has got everybody's attention. So I'm definitely anticipating to see how these games pan out and, how these series pan out, because I definitely think it's going to be great games every time one of these games come on between these 4 teams. We're down to the final 4, and then after that, it's the finals. But, it's definitely going to be great to see. It's definitely going to be a sight to see going forward, and I definitely am more anticipating the Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks. That's the one I think I want to see. I don't really want to miss a game with that one, even though I'm not going to miss either game, between the Miami Heat and the Celtics, or the Warriors and the Mavericks. But to me, the better exciting matchup there is definitely going to be, that Warriors and Dallas, because the way Dallas is playing, I think they're just kind of surprising everybody how good they're playing. See, between the Heat and the Celtics, nobody's really going to be surprised because both teams, have been playing very good. I don't think nobody saw Dallas making it this far or gave Dallas a chance to make it this far. So, that series might be a little bit more interesting to me, but at the same time, both of them will be highly anticipated. Great games to watch. And now that they're in their conference finals, it's put up or shut up. You got to find a way to go out there and win it. And we'll see who'll be the victor, throughout these teams, these final 4 teams, and see who actually makes it to a finals. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos as always. And hey, Khaliis out.